Welcome. I want to talk about what is, without a doubt, the single biggest shift your business is going to face this decade. And that's the rise of the algorithmic customer. We're leaving an era where loyalty was all about a feeling, and we're entering one where it's just as much about data, about logic, and about pure speed.
So let's just jump right in, because this one idea, it changes everything. Literally everything about how you think about customer loyalty. And look, this isn't just some catchy phrase, it is the new reality of the digital shelf. Your next customer, they might not even be a person. They could be an AI agent just executing a purchase.
For decades, the playbook was simple, right? You build an emotional connection, you tell a great story, and poof, you win a customer for life. Well, there's a new player on the scene now. And this competitor? It doesn't have a heart, it has a processor.
And that, right there, is the fundamental conflict we're all facing. That emotional bond you've spent years, maybe even decades building, it's now being put on a scale and weighed against the cold, hard logic of an AI. You see, a person remembers a fantastic in-store experience. An algorithm, it only remembers the data points.
And if you think this is some distant sci-fi future, think again. This is happening and it's speeding up. Just let that number sink in. 1 out of every 4 of your online sales could be decided by a machine in just a few years. The ground is literally shifting under our feet. All right, so if that's the new reality, how in the world do you compete? Well, to win, you've got to understand your opponent's playbook. How exactly do these AI agents decide? What are they even looking for?
See, it's got nothing to do with preference, it's all about a mathematical outcome. The agent runs a calculation, something we call best offer logic. Whichever option gets the highest score in that single moment wins. It's that simple, and it happens every single time.
And what's really wild is just how ruthlessly efficient this whole process is. There's zero room for sentiment, sure, but more importantly, there is absolutely zero room for error. A missing piece of data, a slow API, a price that's off, any of it can get you kicked out of the running before you even knew there was a race. So let me ask you, is your data ready for that?
Which brings us to the new table stakes. These aren't just best practices anymore. This is the price of admission to the game. If you don't have complete structured data and real-time feeds running through clean APIs, your brand is, for all intents and purposes, invisible to this new class of customer. And this quote just perfectly captures the shift. For so long, we've all obsessed over merchandising for the human eye, right? Creating these beautiful storefronts, amazing lifestyle photos. Now, you have to be just as obsessed with curating your data for an algorithm. Your API, that's your new flagship store. But, and this is a huge but, here's the twist. This is where your strategy really comes into play. The human is not gone, not by a long shot. In fact, their role is now more important than ever, because they're the ghost in the machine. Think about it. Your customer is the one programming the AI. They're the ones telling it what matters most. They can literally instruct it to favor your brand, to accept a higher price because they trust you, or to flat out ignore better deals from your competitors. So your job isn't to sell to the AI, it's to influence the person who writes its marching orders.
And we've got the data to prove this is where your real leverage is. Emotionally connected customers are not just a little bit more valuable, they're exponentially more valuable. They will happily pay a premium, and that preference is something they can now code directly into their AI's buying habits.
So how do you do it? How do you build that deep trust? It's by creating a community they actually want to be a part of. It's by delivering personalization that feels genuine. It's by aligning on values. This is what earns you the right to be hard-coded as a favorite. To have your customer tell their AI, you know what? Prioritize this brand even if it costs a little more.
Okay, so how do we put this into practice? How do you actually operationalize all of this and compete on both fronts at the same time? Well, the answer is a framework we call dual-layer loyalty. It's all about having a strategy for 2 totally different audiences.
You essentially need to run 2 loyalty strategies in parallel. You've got the human layer, which is designed to win hearts through experience and community, and then you have the machine layer, which is designed to win algorithms with clean data and benefits a machine can actually understand. You absolutely need both.
And if you want a masterclass in the human layer, look no further than Ulta. Their program isn't just about points. It's about birthday gifts, exclusive access, real consultations. They've created an emotional bond so powerful that 94% of their sales come from members. That is a powerful human firewall against a purely logical AI.
And then boom, here's the machine layer in action.
An AI agent sees the same exact laptop, same price, from two different retailers. But retailer A's API shows the whole picture: loyalty points, cashback, a tier upgrade. The agent doesn't feel anything. It just calculates. And retailer A wins because it presented a mathematically superior offer. It spoke the right language.
So let's bring it all home. What does this dual-layer reality actually mean for your brand's survival and its success over the next 5 to 10 years? The landscape is changing faster than ever, and believe me, your strategy has to change with it.
And this isn't some single event we're waiting for. It's a steady march toward a much more automated marketplace. It's going to start with things like groceries, then it'll move to making loyalty programs machine-readable. And before you know it, AI is a major player. The time to build your dual-layer strategy is right now.
So here's the bottom line. Success from this point forward requires your brand to be bilingual. You have to speak the language of human emotion and the language of algorithmic logic fluently. The goal is to make it as natural for a customer to set your brand as their AI's default as it once was for them to just walk into your store.
And really, it all comes down to this one question. Because in this new world, the biggest risk isn't just losing a sale. The biggest risk is not even being considered in the first place. The risk is becoming invisible to the very systems that are making the choices.